Hello and welcome to the Fit for Life podcast with your host, Alan Fitt-on. In this podcast, I will be covering fitness-related subjects and my experiences to do with nutrition, building muscle and weight loss to name a few, and how, above all, to keep fit for life. So, hello and welcome back to the Fit for Life podcast. We have another guest with us today. Again, I'm too loud and turn myself down a little bit further. Got far too excited there. We're going to have a guest with us today, David Trees. Say hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. Cool. How are you?
I'm great.
Yeah. So how's things with you? All good?
Yeah.
All good.
Great, mate. Yeah.
So how do we meet, David?
My father was unfortunately diagnosed with motor neurons disease back in November last year. I posted something on my Instagram about it, and our friend Wes got in touch with me. Yeah.
He's been on this one before and he's going to be on another one very soon.
Oh, he's a great guy.
He's a legend.
So he put me on to you to speak to you about motor neurons disease because I didn't have a Scooby-Doo about it. And ever since then, we've just become friends.
We have. We met at least once a week, once every 2 weeks, sharing stories. I've been through, as to a lot of my listeners will know, quite a traumatic experience myself to do with that. My mother was obviously diagnosed with it, and it just gave me some good amount of purpose to be able to give Dave a bit of insight and a bit of guidance with what he's going through. Because I think that's something that I wish that I had when I went through that myself. So yeah, but your father's doing good at the moment, isn't he? He's doing
yeah. He's doing really well. Like he's got me looking after him, hasn't it?
Of course, so he's doing great then, isn't he? Yeah. So let's deep dive. Obviously, I know what you do, Dave. We can see the guys watching have got a bit of a clue into possibly what you do. So fire away. What do you do, Dave?
So I own a tattoo studio in Southport called Ebb and Flow Tattoo. That's pretty much it, really. I don't really do much else in regard to working, but I love my job.
Yeah,
it's just great. Yeah, wouldn't have it any other way.
No, but you've built that from the ground up, haven't you?
Yeah. Started 7 years ago, I think. Yeah, about 7 years ago, from nothing but a dream and some saved money.
Yeah,
and yeah,
look at it now. I've been there. It's a smart place. It is a very nice place. We're saying we're going to get me in for my first one this year, aren't we?
100%.
Because I'm a blank template and I'm a very Casper template and pale as anything, so I think it'll look exceptional on me. So what started your love for tattoos, mate? What got you into that love? Was it did it start at school? Where did it kick off?
I think when I got into alternative music, metal in particular, when I was about 14, 13, and I'd see like all the artists, the bands on the telly, like Skuz, Kerrang, MTV2, P-Rock TV for the oldies out there. But yeah, like seeing those guys covered in tattoos, I was, I want to look like that. But my mum hated them. Yeah. So it was, I was a bit in a rock and a hard place, I guess, with trying to get them. And I actually only got my first tattoo when I was about 24.
Right. So it was pretty late then, wasn't it?
Yeah. My mum cried.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Sorry, Mum. Right. Now look at me.
So here's one then. So thinking back, so who is your top guys that? So I mean, I'm into a lot of the same music as yourself. What top guys in that rocky, metal-y industry that you really looked up? You're like, I love him because of his tattoos. Who was it for you?
Ooh,
I know. I'm putting you on the cuff now.
That's a really good question.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I mean, then.
Early days, you know, you're talking like Korn, stuff like that, yeah. And as time went on, yeah. And then when I got into the more kind of like heavier side of metal, like we're going into like Suicide Silence and stuff, and all that. Yeah, seeing the geezer from there, he's like a big spindly looking man, just covered from head to toe in tattoos. I was like, that's what I want to look like.
Yeah. But on that subject, have you heard Linkin Park's released two new songs, haven't they, this past month? Have you listened to them?
Yeah. Do you know what? I've been told to listen to them, but I've not heard them yet.
Mate, honestly, it's like putting your headphones in. I mean, I've blasted them like pretty loud. It's like putting your headphones in and listening to like a new release from them. It's absolutely exceptional. It's like they never went away. But it's needed in a hard place. You're a bit like, I mean, I listened to Linkin Park since Hybrid Theory was released. That's my first album that I bought myself, saved up my pocket money, and bought, and loved everything since. And I think it's just that, like, it was like listening, like it just been made and just been released, and because obviously Chester, he get a bit upset about that, which I think also talking about Chester Bennington is quite in tune with what we're going to talk about a little bit about today, obviously, about, because this is going to be more, I remember even said it really, more of a mental health kind of podcast today, talking about, because Dave here's got a lot of experience himself with going through some struggles, addiction and such forth like that, which we're going to get into now, really. So Dave over here has recovered from addiction. Yep. He's sitting here tall and proud. As we said, he manages a tattoo studio. He's come a long way. He's doing a lot right now and supporting his family. He's doing absolutely amazing. But it's never been that so clear cut, has it?
No.
So, as I said, you recovered from addiction firsthand. What do you believe triggered your addiction? And what were you addicted to? Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, in high school, I didn't particularly have the easiest time. Mainly, I was quite quiet, very introverted. Like getting into like the alternative scene as well in high school was like painting a target on your back for
being
people.
Different.
Yeah. And very like I didn't really have many friends. And I used to get picked on physically and verbally. And I found that when I started smoking weed, which was the first thing I did, and alcohol.
How old were you around that time?
I was 14.
14,
yeah.
Okay.
I found that people stopped bothering me in school, and they would go, "Oh, look, it's cool, Dave. He smokes weed and he drinks." And I know everybody kind of drinks a bit earlier on, but I used, I guess, as like a defense mechanism that kind of rolled into adulthood. Like if I do drugs, I can be this person that isn't me, that is better. And that's where it came from, unbeknownst to me at the time, obviously. But, yeah.
And that was more of a coping mechanism for the abuse. Would you say that was a coping mechanism for the abuse you were receiving at school? Or
I would say like it definitely stopped it.
Yeah.
When it changed people's outlook on me.
You. Yeah.
And like it just did it. It helped to a certain degree, or so I thought it did.
Okay.
But it wasn't long after that where I got into doing A-class drugs.
Was that more college or university? What?
No, it was high school.
It was high school, right, okay.
It was not long after, I'd say 15, maybe 16.
Yeah.
Started using ecstasy, dabbled in, I think I did a bit of like speed and just, again, it just opened up more doors and, don't push that big red button, and I kept pushing it all the time. And yeah.
Would you say that was down to, obviously you did alcohol and you smoked cannabis. Was that because that plateaued? Was that because the people around you were trying new things? Was it because the stuff you were taking previously wasn't having the same effect? What do you think?
It was more, I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. A lot of the people that I hung around with were all outside of school.
Okay.
And they all used A-class drugs, mainly ecstasy. And I just tried it, and I loved it. It was just, carried on from there, I guess, really. But it was definitely due to like social, like the social part of my life, like just the people that I hung around with, that I got to know.
There was normality to do around those people, would you say? Yeah.
Normalizing bad behavior, as it were.
Yeah. And did that continue into college and uni?
Oh yeah.
Would you say it got? Was it more the same? Would you say it got worse?
It got far worse.
Yeah.
I tried cocaine, which was essentially and ended up being my main drug of choice. I think I tried cocaine when I was 17 for the first time. I didn't really get any kind of, like, I wasn't really hooked on it. I just did it.
Yeah.
It was only when I got to about 21, I think, when I was in university, and I started to develop a problem with cocaine where I would be using it, I would say 3, 4, 5 times a week, like sometimes every day. But it'd only be at on a night out. So I never really saw it as a problem.
Right, okay.
It was just having fun, being young. But yeah, that was pretty much how it all kind of led the start of my downfall, as it were.
Yeah. What was the time for you to which, I mean, we will go more into more the mental health side of things.
Yeah.
But talking periodically just about the addiction, what was the point for you that was a tip of the iceberg where you went, I need help here, I need to sort this out? What was that point?
So I was about 34, about 34, I'd say, maybe 35. And I've been using cocaine quite heavily since I was about 30. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I used it frequently prior to being 30, but my life changed somewhat dramatically. Things that I didn't really know how to deal with emotionally at the time, and cocaine helped. And I was using coke 5 times a week minimum, easily. And it changed this time. It wouldn't be like 1 or 2 nights like back to back. It would be like 3 nights without sleeping and drinking like 20, 40, 60 beers, in a session of just a binge, like 3 days non-stop back to back. And I'd do it on my own. I'd just be on my own. I'd never really, every now and again I'd go out on a night out and have some fun.
Yeah.
But mainly I liked doing it all like on my own, just sat. And I think it was, it would have been, from about 33, 34, I was using every single day, drinking near enough every single day.
Right.
I'd only stop when I was fatigued or too hungover, or, I felt too horrible to want to do it. Sometimes that wouldn't even stop me there. I'd just do it to feel better.
Yeah, I understand.
And the tipping point was I had spent, I mean, I don't really know the exact number, but I would say between £2,000 and £3,000 in about a week, maybe 2 weeks on coke and booze. Just sat on my own, just doing it. And at the end of it, I was in bed, so I was lying down, trying to go to sleep, and I remember thinking, as sobriety and reality start to come back to you, questioning, what have I done? I've spent all this money in this short amount of time for what? I was at breaking point, I knew I was an addict before this.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to admit it to myself.
No.
And it was at that point I was lying in bed and thinking, I've got 2 options here. I am powerless against this drug. I'm totally powerless. It has got me, but it's got me on my knees. I can't escape it. And the options were either take my own life or get help. And I chose the latter, obviously. And I spoke to my sister, who I told her that I'm an addict, and from there we went on, told my parents and friends, family, and went on from there. That was the turning point, definitely.
That must have been hard as anything to A, to reach out to your sister, and also B, to obviously own up to your parents too. That must have been pretty challenging.
Hardest thing I've ever done in my life, I think. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, obviously previously we spoke about how much they supported you through that, which we'll get more to down the line. But it's interesting to hear that side of things about the addiction. But then it's also interesting, in a minute we'll get more into the mental health side of things and the reasons why Dave reached out for what he reached out for, which I think is quite empowering. And it's quite educational, and things that I never thought of. And it's just great. It's brilliant. So obviously you confessed to having an issue. Would you say that you received all the help and support that you needed?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. My parents were very understanding about, albeit quite sad about the fact that I was a drug addict, but it didn't stop them helping me in any way, shape or form. My sister was incredible. The friends that I told that stuck by me through it have all been amazing and understanding, like some of them saying, that makes sense.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
Because nobody knew. I hid it for so long. Nobody, not a soul knew, apart from me. But I was very good at hiding it, which I'll get into later of how I can do that. But
yeah. I understand. Amazing. So now we're going to hop a little bit, obviously, deeper now into your mental health problems that you've had. So would you say that addiction was a way to cope with your mental health issues?
100%.
Yeah.
I don't believe that anyone who is an addict is just an addict. They have mental health issues that need addressing and understanding to get to the bottom of why you are an addict.
Yeah.
And that is the only way to recover from it. Admit it to yourself and get some help whenever you're ready as well. You can only do it when you're ready. I think
that's the hardest part for a lot of people. I think when you see addicts, it's families and people help and support as much as they can. But what you just said there, until that individual is ready to make that step, it's hard work. I can imagine it's quite hard for the families and for the friends to see them going through that, and for that time to come. So what mental health issues were you diagnosed with? I know that it happened when you went into rehab, and that's when you started getting diagnosed with these issues.
Yeah.
Do I share a bit more about that?
And of course.
Yeah.
So when I went into rehab, I was a bit perplexed as to why I was there at first. Especially after seeing witnessing alcoholics that were there and hearing why they were there and thinking, I feel like a fraud.
Yeah.
These people who have gone through what they've gone through, and I don't deserve to be an addict. If, as weird as it sounds, I had a very good upbringing. I had minimal trauma as far as childhood trauma goes, but then I guess you can't really measure it. Trauma is trauma at the end of the day. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I spoke to one of the psychiatrists there, as I did every week. So I spoke to a psychiatrist that was there, and he quickly diagnosed me with ADHD. Now, I was aware of what ADHD was. I'd never really considered that it would be part of me, that I had it. And the more that we delved into it, the more it started to make sense as to why I was an addict and what cocaine does to the brain of someone with ADHD, where it doesn't really affect me as much as it would someone else. You wouldn't know if I was on cocaine, and that's why I was always quite curious as to why no one knew that I was an addict. And then as I did more research into this and more of what the psychiatrist said to me, I was like, oh, right, that's how I managed to get away with it for so long. Because it just normalized me. It literally normalized me. I would be able to do normal everyday things to a normal everyday standard whilst on cocaine.
So without being on cocaine, what would your struggles be?
Literally everything that involves any kind of effort that you don't want to do. Planning, doing normal household chores, reading books. I struggled to read anything, learning things, retaining information. Like, it's one of the reasons why I was so bad in school, was because I just, looking back on it after the diagnosis, I was like, that I'm quite a clever person, and I did so badly in school because I just couldn't digest the information that was being given to me. I couldn't do it. It just did not interest me. At the moment boredom sets in for me, I may as well be blind and deaf. Yeah. I'm not listening. I can't take anything in without it. With cocaine, it was the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could.
So I think that's mind-blowing that, so someone from an outsider point of view, because obviously we're learning a lot more now, and mental health's come a long way. We understand these things much more now, don't we? Mm-hmm. But it's mind-blowing to me that so an outsider that has no understanding of mental health would from an outside looking in, would be like, oh, he's an addict, he's taking this. But then in contrast of that, because of the mental health illness that you had, it was a necessity to you because you couldn't do the things you used to do in life without it. I think for me, it's absolutely mind-blowing.
When you look at it in that way, it really is. It's hard to digest things like that. I think a lot of addicts, or just even the term addict, is a lot of stigma around it. Is a lot of like, the criminal, and I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that. I am poised to believe that the vast majority of addicts are in no way, shape or form bad people, like, at all.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's the case at all. I just think that people need help, and just to make that help readily available would be better.
I think, and actually quite possibly someone that hasn't had the help that they yet need. I think obviously your vice was you needed help, you needed support. I think there's nothing around, probably at that age when we were younger, of this level that is mental health that still isn't perfect, but it's better now, isn't it? That we've got a better understanding of ADHD and these things. And you just did what you needed to do to keep you breathing, to keep your head above water, to keep you, moving on. Mm-hmm. Which it must have been so amazing to finally have that answer, to know that I'm not different. There is a reason behind this. Yeah. That must have been quite an extraordinary thing.
It was eye-opening. Yeah. Liberating, as it were. Like, it kind of, it just gave me answers. Yeah. To questions that I didn't know even needed answering. I was like, wow. Yeah. But and it was very interesting. And I also I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder as well. Yeah. Whilst I was and again, that made a lot of sense. More towards the fact I'd always struggled with depression from a very, very young age. Also, I thought was depression. Yeah. When I got properly diagnosed and medicated for bipolar disorder, my life just changed. I was like, this is just mental. Like, what's going on? Like, no more highs, no more lows. Just on a lot more manageable highs and lows. But it's like I'm surfing on this even keel, man. Oh, it was incredible. Right. But again, liberating to find out. I was like, I'm not just a depressed person. Like, it's
getting those answers, which I think was most important for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Did you so obviously it was great to have those answers, but did you have any struggles with being diagnosed? So obviously it sank in and made a lot of sense, but did you have any negative thoughts to think, oh, I've got this disorder, I've got this disorder? Was it any?
At first, no. And the more time went on, yes. I did start to struggle with it, and I didn't really want to tell anyone about it. And that was mainly due to society, I guess. I didn't want to be perceived as weak. I didn't want people
to look at you any differently.
Yeah, definitely. And I didn't want people thinking that I could use these diagnoses as excuses. Not that I would, but I didn't. It was so weird the way that I thought about it, and I just it's backwards. I look back at the way that I did that, the way I thought, and I'm like, who cares? Yeah. Who cares what people think? It's my life, and it makes sense to me. So why should I care if it doesn't make sense to other people? Yeah. But it was after I came to that kind of epiphany. I was like, yeah, actually, I don't care anymore. Yeah, I have this problem. If you ask me, I'll tell you. But yeah.
Yeah. So the people you told around you that you had these conditions, did you receive any much negativity around that? Did you experience any stigma around that? Were you treated any differently at all?
Not particularly by my closest friends or my family or anyone. A lot of my closest friends were all kind of like, again, makes sense. So yeah, they always used to call me like immediate Dave. So,
right.
So,
go on.
I mean, well, that's it. Yeah, ADHD and immediacy and impulsivity. They go hand in hand, like
right, okay.
cheese and pickle, as it were, mate. But it started to make sense, and I was like, immediate Dave. Yeah. It was a real tangible person.
Right, okay.
I still am kind of, but yeah, a bit more manageable now.
Oh, good.
Other than that, negativity, not particularly. People stopped speaking to me.
Yeah.
But I'm not really that bothered about that, really. It says more about other people than it says about me, and that's fine. That's fine with me.
Yeah. I think it more shows people's understanding, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think that there's still a lot of people that are closed-minded out there about mental health and stigmas, and think that they know all. And realistically, it does come down to people's understanding, doesn't it? And that's why conversations like this are so important that we're having.
Exactly.
To educate people, to give people knowledge, and to make people understand, which is quality. So, amazing. Thanks for sharing. So we're going to go a little bit off track now, just for a bit more light-hearted conversation. So are you a foodie, David?
I'm a massive foodie.
Yeah?
Yes.
Dopamine, isn't it? That's what we're chasing.
A lack of dopamine. Yeah. I have to be very, very careful. So,
so if you were stranded on a desert island, David, and you only had access to one meal, and one meal only, you're smashing coconuts and fish and it's coming out of your ears, and you had access to one meal being on a plane for you, what would that one meal be, Dave?
Easy mode, mate. A chicken tikka jalfrezi.
Yeah.
With some keema rice, a keema naan, and some onion bhajis.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Done.
Done.
That's your number one. No matter, no ifs, no buts.
Nope.
What if that Indian was closed?
Oh, I'll try another Indian.
Right answer. So he said you are a big foodie. Obviously, you get a bit of a dopamine kick.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite a big thing within
ADHD,
isn't it? You're chasing that dopamine rush.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know much about dopamine yourself? To share any inside scoop and info?
I mean, I know a little bit, but not too much. I know that it is a chemical released by the brain naturally when you do things that you get enjoyment from. Mm-hmm. My brain struggles to do that, so I need outside help.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that is what makes me kind of almost predisposed to addiction or an addictive personality. Mm-hmm. But yeah, other than that
was really good. From that conversation came really good explanation of ADHD there and dopamine. That was quality. We couldn't have written that any better than what that was, because we went completely off topic talking about food and desert island. We got a full-on awesome breakdown of ADHD. So obviously, how do you find now controlling your reaches for dopamine? So obviously food's a great example. Mm-hmm. Do you find you struggle saying no or switching off on particular foods that you enjoy eating? Or
so I'm medicated for ADHD now, which helps somewhat. I have to be very careful with food. Obviously, I don't drink or do drugs anymore, but food, I have to be very careful with it. Especially like greasy, salty, sugary.
Domino's.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
KFC.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Like, there's no such thing as a small pizza.
No.
Yeah, basically.
Always a large. Or
an
XL from Papa John's do an XL, don't they? I think. I'm pretty sure.
I think they do a double XL.
Do they?
In fact, they definitely do a double XL. Surely.
Yeah.
Well, if they
have you
don't,
had a double XL, David?
Could I probably? Yeah, might have had it.
Potentially.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a 24-inch pizza and a burger before. You know what I mean? Like,
is that from what's it called?
20-inch pizza and a 24-ounce burger from Mr. Casey.
That's it, Mr. Casey's. That's it. That's what I was looking for. The name there.
Yeah,
Mr. Casey. Sadly, I can't get that stuff anymore. Being celiac, I have to go and get 2 or 3 small gluten-free pizzas, which is a nightmare. But at least I can still have pizza. That's the important thing to take away from that.
I have to be very careful with it though, because that does. I have developed, even since being in rehab, food addictions, but I can see it coming and I can recognize the signs now. So I'm like, right, yeah, you're doing this, don't do it.
Right, okay. Do you have something in place to stop that trigger from happening, or is it just literally a conversation with yourself, or do you have...
I have a little kind of mantra that I run in my head. It's just, you're trying to lose weight, don't do this, don't get that pizza, done.
Yeah.
And then I'll go and get a piece of toast instead.
And you're there putting like pepperoni on it, cheese on it, trying to make a pizza out of like a piece of toast.
Yeah, a bit of tomato puree on it as well. That's it.
Yeah.
Like that.
Amazing. So so have you had any, obviously you've spoken about food and dopamine a little bit here. Have you had any struggles since recovery?
In regards to drugs and alcohol, or... yeah, I have. I would say that coming out of recovery, I was left as this just a sober, empty shell. I was reborn with no understanding of who I was. And it took me a long time still, I'd say about a good year and a half, to figure out who I am as a person, and to recognize certain traits about myself that weren't beneficial to me anymore.
Right.
So it was like being 35 years old, but being about 21 at the same time. Yeah, you know, like just trying to figure out who I was, and I'm getting there slowly but surely. You know, it's nice. Still learning every day about myself. And it's good. Having a lot of self-worth in myself now, and, you know, not beating myself up for stuff that goes wrong. And like, other than that, no. Apart from my dad, obviously. But
So how would you compare yourself now to the person to which you were before recovery?
How would I compare myself?
So would you say that now you're a completely different person?
There is no comparison.
No.
I'm totally different.
Would that also go on, so your personality too? Or was it just certain traits that have changed?
I would say, personality, I've always been me. But since, like, straight out of rehab, I would say, I was exactly the same, just without a drug problem. Yeah. Now I've started to learn more about myself. I'm a totally different person. And it's tangible. You know, I can feel it in the way that I interact with people now. How much more confident I am. How much I truly believe what I say rather than try and people please and stuff. You know, I am. I do believe. There is probably. I can't really compare myself to who I was, but it's just nice to see now that I am who I am. But that's good. But also something that you haven't touched on yet. When you were in rehab, you met a certain someone, didn't you? Oh, I did. Yeah, I did.
You didn't touch on that.
So, whilst I was in rehab, I met my partner, and of all places to meet someone. So all I needed to do was get a drug addiction.
So if you're if you're looking to find your partner, guys, if you just get addicted and then get into rehab, you'll find your forever. I'm not being serious here at all, but it's like it's a 1 in a million chance that I think really, but it was I met my partner in rehab. We spoke for a while after I came out, and I was at home,
we just remained friends for a while, just texting, checking up on each other, seeing how we were doing. And about, I'd say maybe 9-10 months after I met her, we met up again, and we've been together since then.
Incredible.
Yeah.
That's cool. And it's nice because she will also you have an understanding of each other. You've been through a similar thing. So you have that understanding.
Yeah. Literally no secrets.
Yeah.
There's nothing that will surprise me about her.
No. Yeah. And her, you.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you both probably had your guards down in that position to which you're in.
Yeah.
But then, a positive of, I think it's all positives anyway to what's happened to you to a certain degree. Well, obviously you'll talk a bit about later. But to come out of that situation with what's happened, I think is absolutely awesome.
Couldn't have asked for anything better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah. Is there anything that you would have changed about the addiction support or mental health support that you got while your time in there?
My personal experience, no, nothing. It was great. As far as on a whole, I quite like to see it being made more easily accessible, less stigmatized, more options available for people, other than like your AA, NA, whatever, CA, more like actual places where you can go, that don't cost an arm and a leg at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, I think, and this is obviously, it's no slight against the NHS at all.
No.
But if you do decide to go via the NHS for recovery help, you're probably going to be waiting a while. So to see that come down, the wait time come down, would be fantastic. But yeah, it's like I said, mine perfect. I wouldn't change it for the world. I got the right help at the right time.
Yeah. Your family were very supportive with that, weren't they?
Yeah. That's it. Like, I think that some people don't really realize as well when it comes to addiction that relapse is a part of recovery. So if you do end up going down the path of recovery and you do end up relapsing, don't be disheartened, or at least try your best not to be. It is all a part of learning. It is all a part of recovery. And the more you learn, the more successful you'll be in getting to through the recovery of addiction. Yeah, would be nice to see some more accessible places.
Yeah. I think I know I've got a few friends that have, in the process of being diagnosed, which is up to 1 to 2 years to get a diagnosis, which is insane. Especially if you're struggling at the moment in time. My friends, I've gone to counsellors. That it's just like a 12-week waiting just to get a phone call on the NHS with a counsellor to then get referred. And I've got a friend who's been referred twice and put through to the wrong person twice, which has back segmented his recovery by like 24 weeks. Mm-hmm. And if you're in a situation of dire straits where you need help and support, but if you're also alone and you can't finance, you haven't got money spare to throw at that, it's quite scary, really. It could be scary for people that are struggling and that aren't getting the help that they need. Exactly. As you said, the NHS isn't perfect, and that's not their fault. It's financial issues. There's a lot of problem with it at the moment, isn't there? But I think it hit the nail on the head. There does need to be a bit more support. But I think also more mutual understanding as well. And the more that people that are around that understand and know about it, people will be more confident to open to talk to people more about these issues and problems, wouldn't they? Yeah.
Taking away the criminality aspect of it as well. It just, I think, change society as we know it.
Yeah.
Like, that would be something I would really like to see.
Yeah.
Just, why bother incriminating someone who's already down and out? What is it going to do for them?
Nothing.
Exactly. You're not going to do anything for them at all. You're going to make them worse.
Yeah.
But maybe you might get the odd occasion where it does help them, but I doubt it. It's they're all very few and far between, in my opinion.
Yeah. Something I do want to bring up as well. I just brushed up on counselling there. I don't know if you mind sharing. You just finished a period of counselling, haven't you? How did you find that? How long did you go through that for?
Yeah, so if anyone is interested in going down the counselling route, it's brilliant. It will really help you. Talking is the best therapy that you're ever going to get, ever. Yeah. It beats any medication. Medications help, but talking is the be-all and end-all, in my honest opinion. So I started this round of counselling, I think, well, it was actually to do with my father, grief counselling, because I'd never dealt with grief before, properly, at least. And, well, there's no proper way to deal with it, I guess, but you know, I'd never dealt with it. Sober would be the correct way of putting it there.
Right.
And I started my counselling sessions, I think in like December last year, and they've only just finished, well, today.
Your last one today.
Yeah.
When you first walked in and said to me, you said you just finished your counselling sessions.
Yeah, it was today. And they were amazing. Like, my counsellor helped me discover so much about me. It was life-changing. She's given me like this enormous mental toolkit.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable. If you do want to go down the counselling route, the place that I went to, it's called About You UK in Southport. I think they've got one in St. Helens as well. And all you need to do is just find them on, you can Google them. I think it's just About You UK.
Yeah.
And fill out a form on their website, and they will more than likely get back to you very, very quickly, and you just go from there.
Yeah. Oh, incredible. You know, I think the majority of people would benefit from counselling. I think a lot of people need to talk more, open up more, have more confidence in themselves. I think it benefit people an awful lot. I had a little segment when I was going through my mum's issues and such forth like that, and that, you know, I was taught to someone that I didn't know personally and open up to was massively beneficial for me. So I think majority of us would obviously benefit from having a counsellor.
An impartial viewpoint on anything in your life is I think
so. And I think it's still looked down an awful lot on, and I think people are still very shy about opening up and saying, "Oh, I've been to see a counsellor or whatever appointment." And I think people need to be a bit more open about that. And the purpose of this is to get talking more about these things, to make them more socially accepted, to then be like,
it's one of them, like, after your first one,
that's it.
You won't care.
Open book.
Well, you will. You just tell people, but once you're not scared of it anymore, once you've gone past and spoke to your counsellor for the first time, you're like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's great.
It's good. Okay, so now obviously, I'm going to insert another question here that isn't down here, because we've gone into ADHD, but we haven't brushed up on a bit more in-depth talk about bipolar.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to tell us a little bit more about bipolar as a condition and what's involved with that?
Yeah.
For people that may not know an awful lot about it.
So it's quite hard to describe.
Yeah.
Because I never knew I had it. I thought I was obviously just depressed. Now, the way I experienced it was being sober as well, getting like these euphoric highs, almost feeling like I was on drugs. Like, they were fleeting.
Like, naturally?
Yeah, right. Like they were very, very fleeting, you know, but it was weird. It was like being a different person for an hour or so, you know, and then you get an intrusive thought or something that it could have been anything, you know, someone, you see someone that you don't particularly like.
Right, okay.
And all of a sudden it's
just dips.
And you're miserable. The world's going to end. Like, you just, and there's no real substance as to why you feel that way. There's no reason, no rhyme, no nothing. Like, you're just miserable, and there's no reason as to why you're happy either. It just happens. It's imagine a sound wave, and that's where your mood is going.
Right.
like
day to day.
Yeah. And then imagine like I don't really know. It's going to sound a bit macabre, but a not beating heartbeat monitor.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
And now my mood is kind of there. Right. And every now and again it just goes like that or like that.
Right, okay.
And that's it. Yeah. It's, again, I don't really know much about it in regards to like the actual condition and things. I've never really read into it. I just kind of got told I had it and made the connection to my personal life and was right, yeah.
And how it's affected you.
Okay. And then being medicated for it and saying that it works.
Yeah.
Only then clarifies it more. I'm like, right, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
This works and antidepressants didn't. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you, that's an interesting question. So the antidepressants that I'm guessing you had probably previous to recovery, am I right? How did they affect you? Just out of pure curiosity. Did they bring you even lower? Or did they...
It was... There were like... different ones did different things, I found. So there was sertraline, which I'll be honest, it didn't really do much for me. I can't remember what dosage I got up to. I really can't remember at all, but I just took them religiously, like the doctor told me to, so I took them, you know. It was when I came off them though, I just stopped when I started on the mood stabilizers instead. The side effects were pretty horrific. They weren't good. I wasn't very happy at all. Right, okay. Yeah, which was weird. Like, you know, it does nothing for me while I'm on it, but the second I stop it, it's like, no mate. It was horrible. Right. Yeah. And before that, I was on, I can't remember what it's called now. Citalopram, I think. Yeah. Again, not much. No. Not much in the way of any kind of noticeable difference. And I've never really taken an antidepressant that's helped me, like in the long run at least. Anyway, it's only ever been side effects that I've suffered from. Yeah. Like from taking them.
I see. It's never really helped you much.
But it's, yeah.
No, right.
Which is, yes. But it is what it is. You've got to go through this to get to the where you need to get to. You know,
that's true. It's another segment and part of the journey, isn't it? So how do you find? Obviously, now you're in a much better place. You say that you chase for dopamine. How do you find fitness and training?
Right.
Because last time we spoke, you did a lot of running.
Yeah.
And you said you were feeling great from doing that. Because obviously, I'm very fitness based. It's good to get a bit of attachment of that in here.
Yeah, I love it.
You love it, yeah.
I'll start running, and it's when I get about I don't know, about 20 minutes into a run, and I'm just like, I'm beaming.
Yeah. You're feeling great. Yeah.
Oh, it's incredible, and I'm like, I don't want to stop because I really enjoy this feeling. It's great.
Yeah. Is it the same after you finish as well?
Yeah. It just puts me in a really good mood for the rest of the day. It's just great. I love how I feel after it. Do you know what I still struggle with though? Is getting up and going.
Do you?
Yeah. Right, okay. Don't know why. Yeah. I've really got to push myself.
Right.
Sometimes I don't, but sometimes I do. Yeah. It's all good though, because I know.
So how do you manage that? Would you say it's a routine that helps you manage that?
Yeah, I just go, right, do it now.
Alarm set on phone, get up, get out, smash now. Yeah.
Yes.
I think, as we just talked about a bit about like depression. And I think like GPs are very quick to when people are feeling down to be like, have some depression tablets and things. And I think obviously if there's mental issues there and we need them, fine. But I think exercise and eating healthier and moving more is overlooked enormously. And I think obviously jobs that PTs doing things is definitely overlooked. And I think, you know, the majority of people, because we are in a high level of obesity right now, and the more people do eat better and move more, generally, the better you do feel.
I totally agree.
That should be more pushed, you know, more so before going, have some antidepressant tablets.
Yeah.
Bash bosh, you know?
You are what you eat at the end of the day.
That's true.
Like, yeah, I think antidepressants they help to a certain point, but I don't think they should be the first port of call.
No,
I think a lifestyle change or a way of helping people with a lifestyle change would be far beneficial than a prescription.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
a prescription tends to be a temporary fix, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, you don't tend to take antidepressants for longer than a few months at a time.
Yeah,
like you're not meant to be on them for forever every day.
No. But I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, and that can be detrimental as well. Like you can develop like a reliance on them, you know.
Yeah.
And again, in a roundabout way, you're addicted.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's not good.
No, not at all. So I know a bit more Dave now.
Yeah.
So what other hobbies and interests do you have, Dave?
Right. Well, my main hobby and interest is Warhammer.
Yeah.
Painting, playing Warhammer. Love it. I'm addicted to it.
yeah, dopamine again. We got it there. I was into Warhammer in school as well. We've spoken about this a few times.
Yeah.
Still haven't attacked. I've got some boxes in my attic, and Dave said to me countless times, "As you get up there, I've got Epic 40,000.
Epic 40k. Yeah,
Epic 40k up there. And apparently, it could be worth quite a wedge. But still haven't had time to get up there yet. It's still sat up there.
Yeah. I remember you said you'd give it to me. Yeah.
Is that what I said? I thought so.
Yeah. I recorded you saying.
Yeah. But yeah, no, you should check out Dave. If Dave gives you his Instagram, it'll be only personal one actually, so maybe not. But he's very talented at his paintings and things. You do the little plate that spins them.
Oh yeah. I love it.
I mean, the time you put into them is exceptional. They look incredible.
Yeah, I don't do things in halves. I'd push myself.
Go at it.
Everything. Yeah. I love it. But yeah, no, it's incredible. I just wish I had more time to do it.
Yeah.
You know,
it's hard when you're working. You got a relationship. You're spinning a lot of plates right now, aren't you?
Yeah. But other than that, interests. Play video games every now and again. Mm-hmm. I like some. Not too into like your Call of Duties and all that lot. No. I'm more into like your strategy games. You know? Yeah. Remember the old Red Alert, Command and Conquer?
Command and Conquer, Yuri's Revenge. Yeah. Take Me Back. And what's the other? Mates about it the other day. What's it? Age of Empires.
Oh,
that's up there too. There's more stuff for the cheat codes. They were great.
Yeah.
Generals.
Yeah, Generals is great.
What else was there?
There's tons.
Shogun Total War.
Yeah, I liked that one. I can't remember what else. It was actually a load of Warhammer games as well. Warhammer Total War.
I never played that.
Oh, you need to.
Yeah? Did you have a desktop when you were younger?
Yeah. I've got one right now as well.
Do you take it to your mates' houses for LAN parties? Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's...
People will never know.
Yeah, I was going to say, kids will say would never know taking a desktop to a friend's house to have a LAN party for the night. You'd be there carrying your laptop on your screen, and then you'd be setting up in the corner of your mate's room with your sleeping bag to stay the night. You'd be there gaming all night.
Brilliant.
Land up.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
It'd take you about an hour to get the LAN working. Your network connection would keep going down, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And that's why LAN parties lasted for like 9 weeks. And
And then there's there's a playhouse in Southport as well, wasn't there? Do you remember that as well?
I was a frequent visitor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and StarQuest.
I dabbled here and there. I didn't go there too often. My mates were more into that.
I reckon I met you there.
Possibly.
Playhouse. Yeah. I reckon I did.
Well, we must have done. We must have crossed paths.
Yeah.
Indefinitely. I went there a few times. My mates were more into it. My old mates, I won't name one on here for obvious reasons. But, yeah, take us back. Well, music.
I do like music.
Would you say that you get quite a big dopamine pull for music? Would you say you rely on that at all?
I listen to music to make me feel emotions that I want to feel on purpose. Like, if I want to feel sad, I will listen to music.
Yeah.
If I want to feel angry, I'll listen to music.
Yeah.
And I find that it helps me like expel emotion in a healthy way, or negative emotion in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Or positive emotion if I want to.
Yeah. Going to music, I think we were chatting to it briefly before, but like Chester Bennington, like Linkin Park, I'm the biggest Linkin Park fan ever. And these past few weeks, I got down a proper rabbit hole. He committed suicide. I think it's quite empowering because I think from start to finish, all their music is about emotional struggle, mental health issues, and his struggles. And obviously, sadly, we committed suicide because they took over. But I think the relatability of the songs they write and what they sing about, what they talk about in the music, it makes them so damn relatable. I think that's what gives him a big love of the band for me. I'm not sure if you're a big Linkin Park fan or not, but
it's more poetic to me, like the situation of him and the band and him taking his own life is. If you read through some of the lyrics and even the song names, it makes sense.
It does, doesn't it?
Now,
massively.
It's like he was telling the world and no one was listening.
Yeah,
it's sad. But
it's sad, but I mean, it's something that was even so big in that position.
Yeah, I know how it can affect you. I was involved in the music industry for a long time, professionally.
Sure. Yeah. I remember you saying actually.
Yeah, my early 20s, and it really takes its toll on you. Like, you're not a person, you're a product. And it's all very much based on, like, when you're going to release your next album, because, like, you've got to do it all, like, timed and everything. To me, doing it professionally killed my passion for playing music.
I did it.
Oh, totally.
They say, don't they, that the closer you get to the top, the lonelier you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not all it's cracked up to be. I mean, I was never Metallica or anything like that, but I got to a point where I was beyond where I ever thought I would get to being with music, like touring, being in magazines, being on the telly, playing the Download Festival. Like, it was...
Bloody hell.
It was unreal for me. I never even thought I'd get that far, and to get that far and realize this is just not for me. It's it's incredible to think crazy. That it's a hard industry to be in, is music. And if you look at what happened with Chester Bennington, you can really see. I mean, I know he was on a different scale of fame to where I was, but
obviously you were leading toward that, and I think
well, that's it. It wasn't Linkin Park; it was the Chester Bennington experience, and he didn't want that, and I think that impacted him quite a lot. He was very much dedicated to his band.
Yeah, they were a team. They all put in as much as each other.
The record label wanted to make it the Chester Bennington experience.
Well, he just lost a friend at that time, didn't he? He lost name now. I wasn't documentary today, but he lost a friend. I think like 2 months before he committed suicide.
Did he really?
And it was on his friend's birthday that he committed suicide.
Right.
So that was obviously a mental issue he was going through with losing his best friend, and it's just sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it just showed even people right at the top of the limelight that you think is going to be perfect, and even they struggle.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think is massively empowering.
Robin Williams. Loads.
Another one. Yeah.
Who was actually a massive Warhammer fan.
Was he?
He was.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. On that note, Witcher season 3 comes out in, is it 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's not.
And Henry Cavill is then doing his Warhammer thing, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Well, when's that out? Do you know? Have you looked into that?
I don't know.
No.
Probably in the year 40,000.
A few years from now.
Yeah. I don't know, but I can't wait.
Yeah, I think Henry's great because he's a great actor, but you can just tell he's a proper full on nerd and geek by heart, and I think it's terrific. There seems to be more people out there like that. It's great.
The world would be a better place if there was.
Yeah, definitely. Commit to it. I'm very much like you. I'm old and I'm decrepit now, but I'm very much like I have the not give a damn personality to an extent, not to the point where I hurt others and stuff, but. I went to a weekend away to Bristol with mates the other weekend. I went for a night out, and as a joke, I bought glow sticks, right? And before we went out, we put these glow sticks on. My mates were not happy at all because they were carrying what other people would think of them, looking in a particular way. And I was like, I don't care. So I went out with these glow sticks on around my neck and everything, just not giving a damn.
Yeah, too right.
I just think life's too short.
Yeah,
it's great.
Exactly.
So let's see. So looking at your past looking at your past, everything that you've been through, and everything that's happened to you. If you could change anything, would you? Would you do anything differently? Would you change anything if you could?
I would definitely not change a thing at all. Everything that I've done, everything that I've been through has brought me to this point now. and I'm the happiest that I ever have been in my entire life. And to get here, to go through what I've been through, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I'm very proud of myself, and I'm very happy with the outcome of everything. And yeah, no, I wouldn't change not a thing. Not a thing.
Love that. It's incredible. The other thing you've been through is brought to, as you said, where you are now. And you go through things in life, and it just, I think, wisdom, value, things you learn, you can't teach those things. It's going to be life experience, isn't it?
It's beyond monetary value.
Yeah,
beyond.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Actually, no, I'd invest in Bitcoin.
Would you? Yeah, I'm with you on that, actually. Yeah. What else could we have done sooner? What hype change could we jumped on before someone else? That's epic, mate. That's actually epic. What's in the future for Dave? Down the line for you, what's your next steps?
So I am currently in the process of renovating my tattoo studio, because we're too busy. We need another artist. So
that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, so
good problem to have.
I'm doing that at the end of May.
Right.
Looking for a new artist now, and yeah, like I'm going on holiday.
Good. Yeah. When are you going on holiday?
Going to America.
Yeah.
Going to New Jersey.
Excellent.
Yeah, with my partner.
Yeah.
That would be really good. But yeah, get better at painting.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Get better? You're already like top level, in my opinion, anyway.
Well, I want to be
even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be a lot. Yeah. I want to win an award. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Get more tattoos as well.
Yeah. I mean, how many have you got? Do you know, or is it all as one now because it's all kind of like interconnected?
Yeah.
You're actually from head to toe, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah. I look a bit like a sandwich board at the moment. I've got like I've got these two strips, like one side of my ribs here, and one side of my ribs here. Which isn't that the most painful part to get tattooed? I'll let you know.
Right, okay. I will not be getting a tattoo done there when I come for my first one.
That's changing in about 3 weeks. Starting my ribs.
Right, okay.
But yeah, other than that, no, I'm not really got much more, not much else on the horizon.
No.
Little steps.
Probably little things you don't want to mention here, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, there is one thing I can't mention.
Yeah.
But
that I know of. We won't say it. So a little thing I wanted to talk about as well, just going back into tattoos and things. You said when you first started getting tattoos, you had a bit of a dopamine rush, didn't you, when you first got them?
Yeah.
And that's changed a little bit for you now, hasn't it?
It's just pain.
it's just pain. But you love it, so it keeps you driving on.
Yeah, I like the outcome.
Yeah. Well, what are you getting done here and here?
So I can't remember which side, but one of the sides, I have quite, like, the majority of my tattoos are all like nautical, sea, like under the water kind of based stuff.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So I'm getting, like a flail.
Yeah.
Like a mace, but on a chain.
Yeah.
So instead of the mace, like the ball part of it, it's going to be a pufferfish.
Oh, okay.
And the handle is going to be a sushi roll.
Right, oh wow, okay.
So
awesome.
A fugu flail.
Yeah, fugu flail.
Fugu flail, yeah.
Awesome. How long will that take? Is that a lengthy one?
Don't know. Like, I reckon it'll be 2 sessions.
Yeah.
So
till it's done.
Yeah. Line in a bit of black and then a session of colour. Yeah. So 8 hours maybe, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, not fun.
No.
But when my ribs are done, I'm done.
Yeah, completely. Done it.
Yeah, apart from my face, but I don't think I will.
No. Would you ever, if you ever shaved your head?
Which is not going to happen, but...
No, if you ever, figuratively speaking, would you get anything done on your head?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
of course. I wouldn't want to right now, though. I'd have like a big pasty white head.
That's me. When I did Snowden the other week, I've been purposely taking my cap off to try and get a bit more... I even shaved my head like last November. It's funny, actually. I went to Spa this last week, and because it's the first time I've been in there since I shaved my head. I've not gone in with a cap on. I've always been in with a cap.
Yeah.
And the guy went to me. He looked at me, and I was like, you all right? Because he talks to me every time I go in, and he was like, yeah. So that's a bit drastic, isn't it? And I went, what do you mean? And he was like, your hair. And I was like, what do you mean my hair? And he was like, oh, you usually come in with a cap, don't you? I said, I did this in November, mate. And he went, oh, you've been in with a cap ever since. So from November to now, he's only just now seeing me head shaved. I was like, so you're behind with the times, mate. But I obviously keep walking in with my cap on, so he obviously had no idea. And so pre that, he'd seen me with hair. So I've gone from he'd seen me with hair to caps to.
Oh mate, I bet you rock a shaved head. Yeah, it looks badass.
Yeah, it's I'm well suited to it now. I saw some picture of me with hair the other day, and I was like, I actually prefer myself without hair because I think I let it go quite. I've always had quite a big forehead. I let it go quite high, and then eventually got to the point where I said it's sink or swim, as we spoke about. And yeah, I love it now. I think it's good. I think my head actually looks better for it. Apart from my head looks a bit small compared to my obviously my body because I do a lot of weight training. I get a bit of P-head on the horizon maybe. But I love it. And there's a lot of mental health things to do with that as well. But we can talk about that more in a second episode that we do.
Yeah.
Definitely getting more into the mental health side of things. So where are we up to? So if you could say anything right now to someone watching this or listening, hi guys, that is currently struggling with being diagnosed, not knowing where to go, real struggles, what advice would you give to someone?
It depends on what stage the person is at in regards to the recovery or not recovery. If you're kind of flirting between the idea of am I not an addict, I would advise to look at your habit and maybe make a log of it and make a note of when you do it and why you do it. And if you're doing it for specific reasons, as in to suppress emotion or to deal with what happened during the day or just literally no reason whatsoever, you just want to do it, have a look at it at the end of the week and come to the conclusion yourself of whether or not it's a problem. If you're currently going through recovery, don't be deterred. As I mentioned earlier, don't be deterred about relapse. It's common. It happens. People relapse. It's part of recovery. As long as you know that you're in recovery, you will always be in recovery even after you relapse. You just need to acknowledge it and move on. You've not failed. You've had a day or two off.
Yeah.
That's it, you know? I would suggest go if you do think you've got a problem, maybe go and see a counsellor and see what an impartial viewpoint would think. If you've not told anyone, go and see what an impartial viewpoint would think of it. You know, they're not going to tell anyone. I know it can be very scary to come out and admit that you are an addict. But I promise you, it'll be the most liberating thing you'll ever do. And there's plenty of help out there if you choose to go and seek it. It might not be as readily available as I'd like, but it's definitely there. I mean, if anyone checks out my Instagram after this, when I give it, whenever the end or something, even get in touch with me if you want to. I'll help where I can personally, you know, via messages or meet someone for a coffee. I'll do anything, you know. I'm always open, up for helping anyone that wants help. But obviously there's only so much help I can offer.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're going through recovery, well done. Keep doing it. Keep trucking. Yeah. You're smashing it. You'll get there.
Awesome. Love it. I think everything that Dave said there's bang on. Obviously he's got a lot more experience than me in that. Like what he's been through and everything shared with us today. But I think his biggest thing is just reach out and talk to people. Don't be afraid to talk to your friends, your family. You know, if you've got any issues, just reach out and talk to people. I think talking, is the biggest thing, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Even with the counsellors, just getting out and just speaking to someone.
Like with addiction, it breeds isolation. It is just a byproduct of addiction. Isolation is the worst. It is the worst part of it, I find. It's where you can't do anything, you're stuck and you can't tell anyone. And try and remember that that's just your brain trying to defend these behaviors that aren't normal. They're trying to hold on and latch on and normalize these behaviors that you shouldn't be doing because it feels safe. You're not on your own. You can get help. And can't stress enough how liberating it is.
Yeah. As a recovered.
Recovering. I'll always be in recovery. Yeah.
But you've done amazing and you've come so far, mate.
Thank you.
So is there anything that we're not covered today that we've missed out on, or anything you haven't had a chance to say, anything else you'd like to bring to the table?
My studio, my tattoo studio, where I'm currently in the planning stages of it at the moment. If you want to find us on Instagram, it is Ebb and Flow Tattoo. Same on Facebook. We are planning to do a charity day where all the proceeds go towards the Motor Neurons Disease Association. It is going to be on a Sunday. I have no idea when, but very soon, I hope.
Yeah.
And essentially, it'll be a £30 minimum donation, and all the tattoos will be, you just pick which one you want when you go in. And it'd be great if people could come down to it when it's there and just check out the Instagram for some announcements on it and stuff.
Yeah,
for
epic.
An amazing charity.
Yeah.
As I'm sure you will attest.
Yeah, 100%. I'll be down there showing my support. So I'll give it a share on socials and post links if you get links up for the charity and things.
Will do,
And we'll work something together on that and get something up.
Cool.
So you've already kind of said your business. Do you have any other socials you want to share? Anything else that you want to go on? So
my Instagram is just Dave Trees. And I think it's the same on TikTok. Yeah, Dave Trees, my TikTok's more my Warhammer stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, my Instagram is a bit more personal stuff, but I'm an open book. I'm not a private profile kind of guy.
No.
But and as well, as I mentioned earlier, if anyone wants to get in touch with me in regards to any help they need, feel free. I'll help where I can.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all my socials.
Excellent. So that's pretty much it, guys. So just a big thank you from me. But just a big thank you for sharing and coming and showing your recovery process and what you've been through and everything you've done. It's a true testament to who you are today, to why you're successful with your business, you're supporting your family, you got a great partner, you're smashing it. So just massive well done. Big thank you for coming and sharing.
Oh, thank you very much.
Mate. I think the listeners will truly appreciate it. And obviously, if anyone wants to reach out, same with myself as David. If you need to reach out anytime to myself, anyone, David's an open book, I'm an open book. We're all here to talk to. If anyone needs anyone to reach out and talk to, I think that's the biggest thing that we're trying to do here with this whole mental health thing, recovering on here. And that's pretty much it, guys. So that's a wrap. Thank you for tuning in. Please do give us a rating, a like, and a share if you wouldn't mind. It really helps the podcast grow and helps us improve. Thank you very much. Again, thank you, David.
Well, thank you.
That's a wrap, and I'll see you guys in the next one. You take it easy.